Have you ever thought about how a single conversation with a person can change the course of your life? Think about it. A conversation with a teacher, a coworker, a family member, a total stranger. Whatever they said had so much weight that it began to shape the decisions in your life. How you looked at the world, relationships, and even your future. And you might be surprised to know this, but this type of conversation interaction and the power that it has is a biblical principle that's deeply rooted in wisdom and has stood the test of time. So in my hand, I have my old iPhone 8. I'm showing you this because last night I had a dream that someone handed me this exact phone. Now, in the dream, this device symbolized something powerful. And I want you to stay with me because this may explain to some of you and may even confirm to many of you something that you've been believing for a long time about the power of words and how they can echo and impact your life long after they've been spoken over your life. So here's the dream. It's quick. So I find myself at this dinner party. I'm there with my husband and about 10 other people. We're there celebrating the accomplishments of one of our friends. She recently had got a promotion on her job. She was about to get married, and then she had started this separate business off from her regular job, and that business was taking off. So we were there celebrating that. The event ends. I realized that once I got home that I had left my cell phone at the restaurant. So my friend called me, the one that we were celebrating. She calls me and says, "I have your phone. I'm bringing it right over." I say, "Okay." I step outside of my house and wait for her to drive up with the phone. Instead of her driving up, the trees start shaking around my house, and I realized that there was a helicopter over my house, and it was her in the helicopter, and she was maneuvering this helicopter so well. She got that helicopter low enough for me to reach the cell phone. She just handed it to me. Oh, and by the way, the cell phone that she hands me is not the cell phone that I actually left at the restaurant. She hands me this old iPhone 8. We smile at each other, and then I look over to the left of my house, and there was this huge stadium. It had thousands of people in the stadium. So I'm looking, and I realized that they were actually waiting on her to come to the stadium. And the kicker of this was that she had on this white hazmat suit, like one of those chemical suits, as she was flying this helicopter. And they were waiting for her to show up to teach them how to wear that white hazmat suit that she had on. And then I woke up from the dream. So let me explain this dream to you. So the cell phone represents a moment in time where me and this young lady had a conversation, and whatever was said in that conversation had a profound effect on her life. It shaped her life in a great way. And her bringing me back the phone with that beautiful smile on her face was a way for her to say, I actually took our conversation and actually planted it in my life, waited for it to take root, waited for God to water it and grow it and watch it come to pass in my life because I believed it. And her bringing me back the phone with that beautiful smile on her face was a way for her to say, I actually took our conversation and actually planted it in my life, waited for it to take root, waited for God to water it and grow it and watch it come to pass in my life because I believed it. And the orange coloring of the case, it represented harvest season for her. That seed had been planted in her life, and now the fruit was ripe, and it was time for her to enjoy the harvest. The color can also represent transition, like moving from summer to fall, and the leaves turn orange or brownish orange looking. This is a transition phase for her where she's moving into a new season quickly. And the helicopter, this is good. Now, you can see that she was flying a helicopter and not an airplane. See, helicopters, you have a little bit more control with helicopters than you do with airplanes. Airplanes, they require a lot of coordination for landing, for taking off, and even for maneuvering in the air. But a helicopter, you have more control over it. So this helicopter was symbolic of her taking control in her life, deciding to make decisions, deciding to trust God, deciding to remove things from her life, to add things into her life, deciding to be obedient. And because of that, she was able to make some quick adjustments that caused her to elevate. That is what the helicopter symbolized in that dream. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I'm making a part 2. And in the part 2, I'm going to explain to you what the hazmat suit really meant. That is going to blow your mind. And then I'm going to wrap it all up and show you how this entire thing about the power of the conversation of our words are even impacting your life today.